thank you for being here to talk about how to get speaking gigs. And I get really excited when I talk about this topic. It's something that I get to talk about a long time, and I want to share everything I can with you. So let me explain to you why I named it what I named it. I know this is a long name. It's a very chock full of stuff, so let's break it down. 4 speaking gigs. You got to start somewhere, right? What if you could get 4 really amazing speaking gigs out of this experience today using the strategies? I think that would be pretty cool. I also am going to show you why perfect prospects is important, because and mainly it really is because a lot of people are doing practice gigs, they're doing local gigs, they're doing gigs that might get them 1 client, but they're not necessarily filled with their perfect prospects and what you can do about that. And then I put a time frame on this, the next 90 days, because every good goal has a time frame, and I want to make sure that you have a strategy that you could just knock out of the park over the next 90 days. So when we go and talk about this, I want to just imagine for a second that you're standing on the stage surrounded by perfect clients. They haven't become clients yet, but they're the people that you would really love to connect with. You're able to take 20 minutes, 45 minutes, maybe it's 90 minutes to give your message, your talk, to get them to connect with you, see your point of view, and to really give as much as you can of you, so that they see you as a trusted advisor, they see you as a credible resource, and this is what you should be doing with your business. And you probably already know this, that's the reason you're here. You either want to do it more, or you're ready to take it to bigger stages. Whatever it is, you're at the right place. So when I think about this, I hear a lot of people talk about the problem, and they really want to put the problem on someone else. They don't want to take responsibility themselves. And I really think that's a downfall to anybody who wants to grow their business, who wants to make it successful, to make significance and make a difference in the world. If they want to blame someone else, it is the problem. And so what we're going to talk about today is, if you're not blaming them, who do you need to blame? Here's the key. It's you. I say this with an open heart and very compassionate and empathy, but you're the reason why you are exactly where you are right now. And we're going to talk about what you can do about that today. The one thing that every speaker has is something that allows them to know what they're doing day in and day out, allows them to reach out and build relationships, and allows them to have a calendar of what's important to them. And that one thing is a list. I learned this from watching my wife, a few years ago. She's a professional speaker. Her primary business is just getting paid to speak. I don't actually get that many fees. I actually have learned to speak for my business. We'll talk about that a little bit later, to generate leads and to get clients. But when I watched my wife create a list of 300 events and the decision makers for this, and she called it her farm list, I watched how she systematically moved through the process. She was very proactive with doing this, and she had a list. So I'm going to give you this today, a free gift just for showing up, just for coming to this webinar and getting what you need to get out of this. I'm going to give you this list of events. Now, I'm going to ask you to remind me at the end of the presentation here to give you the URL for this, but you do have to stay to the end to get it. And this is a spreadsheet, so you can sort it, you can copy it, you can edit it, you can make it yours, and I'm going to share with you exactly what might be missing beyond this to help you, and that's part of the whole training today. Because this is a great list, the top 100 conferences for 2017. It's actually more than 100, but I've got this list for you that is yours, but I'm going to show you what's missing. Today we're going to be talking about the 7 steps to getting speaking gigs. The 7 steps to getting speaking gigs, and we're going to be doing this because I want to make sure that you fulfill that promise of 4 speaking gigs in 90 days, full of your perfect prospects. I'll remind you, if you have a question, for you to put it into this so that I can come back to it. I'm really excited about being able to serve you. I've already asked some of the people that have come in, what is the one thing you hope to learn? So if you don't have a question, just tell me what you hope to learn today to make sure I cover it. I do have some open time in here to talk about this, but we're going to go through the 7 steps to getting speaking gigs, and I'm going to go through a few more things that will really make this powerful for you. Before we get there, I just want to remind you that there's no substitution for results. You have to be good at what you do. Otherwise, when you speak, you won't get the results that you want. And I'm not talking about just the speaking on stage. I'm talking about the work that you do. Typically, I work with business owners that have a service, have something to offer beyond the stage. And so they are using the stage in a way to get lead generation, to get clients. But you still have to be really good at what you do. This is not an excuse to be poor and use this strategy to actually just get clients and deliver shoddy work. So, secondly, you can't be all things to all people. I've got a podcast. I've interviewed over 250 people. The number one quote that comes up over and over and over, people getting success and stopping the treading water or the survival mode of business is when they realize they can't be all things to all people. And I'm going to share with you what that means inside here. And then finally, leveraging your authority will accelerate your growth. I don't think that you would disagree with me on this, but really such a powerful element of success is knowing that you already have authority inside you and inside your business. And are you willing to use it? Are you willing to let it precede you in the relationships you're building? And how can you actually do that? And that's what we're really focused on today. So I want to give you a little bit of my story. Hopefully I've built up a chance to share with you a little bit about me. If you've heard this before, don't tune out. I'm going to put some new stuff, new twist in here that maybe you've never heard before about me. So, and I'll be very brief with this. And if you want to know more, obviously there's a lot to share. I'm an exciting kind of guy. But my story is one of I love my family, and I would put my wife up here, but I just love this picture. I do all this to build freedom for my wife, my son, and to make an impact for others. We do jiu-jitsu together, and my son is actually in my speech, and I had a chance to pull a story out, and it's one of the openings to one of my speeches, and it's about not knowing it all. And I won't go into that right now, but I do intertwine my family into my business because I love what I'm doing. I love my family, and my son turns to me the other day and says, "Daddy, I want to be just like you." And I'm like, I was floored. So that's a little bit about me. I am a strategic coach. That's one of the titles that people give me. People call me a speaker. People call me a podcaster. Those are great. But what's more important is, what do I do for clients? Well, I help them come up with new strategies that will help them grow their business. I help them understand how authority positioning can be leveraged and how it can be claimed. And then I help them with lead generation. And specifically, but lead generation is around high-value clients. I don't work with any businesses that have $7 and $27, $37 products as their primary source. Really, I don't think any of them have those at all. They're working in the thousands. So maybe they're a workshop provider and they have a workshop that might be $5,000 or $10,000, or they might have a service where they go into a business and it might be $5,000 or $10,000. I have some clients, a lifetime value of a client is worth $60,000 to $100,000. Those are the kinds of clients I typically work with. Now, you may not be at that place yet, maybe even beyond that, but that's what I do for people. I come up with new strategies. I help them with authority positioning and lead generation. I've spoken all across the country. This is just some examples of some of the places I've spoken, and I have a top podcast for entrepreneurs called Leaders in the Trenches. I've written for a lot of places. I show up there, mentioned in a lot of the media, and a lot of this has come because of my exposure on stages. So don't discount the fact that one strategy will support another. That's a really important key that I don't really bring up that much, but a lot of people go, how do you write for these places, or how do you get featured? Well, I'm doing something really interesting, or I've been proactively put myself out there. All right. there was a turning point in my life, and I haven't always been a coach, and I wanted to just kind of briefly tell you, I have run multiple million-dollar businesses, and I did this from 2001 to 2010, and I've been successful. I've had freedom. I've had financial freedom. I've made as much as I really wanted to make at the time, and it really is a great place and a great feeling. But when I got there, I realized there was something missing, and I really wasn't fulfilled with what I was doing. And the main reason is because I wasn't making a difference in the world. I didn't feel like I was expressing my purpose. My soul felt empty. It's more than just money when you talk about growing a business. And so one of the things I believe is where I am right now, what I'm doing is allowing me to express my own soul, my own self-worth, if you will, and that playing together, like that significance playing together with my success, they feed off each other. And so one of the things that got me to where I am right now was a huge failure. And I lost everything in a 24-hour period in my business, my professional career. I actually lost about $3 million. And I won't go into the details here, but in 2010, literally 6 years ago this month, I lost, is it 7 years? Wow, 7 years? Wow. I just realized it's 7 years. 7 years ago, I lost $3 million. And I have refocused myself to make a difference in this world as a coach, as a speaker, as a podcaster, and all the other things I do so that I can deliver my message and make an impact in this world. And that has propelled me to where I am right now. I've got a book coming out later this year. It's about the trap of success. It goes into the details of that. If you want to find out more about it, you can go to thetrapofsuccess.com, get the first few chapters, find out more about that story if you're so inclined. Perfectly okay with me, but I'm not going to go there. I'm just going to keep moving with this message. One of the things I'm known for is be the choice, not just a choice. So Shireen asked at the opening of this training, how do you get people to select you when there might be other choices? Well, you've got to make sure that you are the choice. And how do you do that? We're going to talk about that today. And what's really interesting about this is, I don't know if we have any millennials on here, but in business, there's no participant trophies. There's no trophies for just doing, a good job. You've got to actually be the winner. You've got to be the chosen one. You've got to be selected. So fantastic advice for you. And if you take nothing else, that's something that I live by. Let's go over the obvious because I want to make sure that we are in the right place with this. You've got to speak at the right events. I remember in my own journey, I was speaking at places that weren't filled with my ideal clients, and I was a little frustrated. I wasn't getting very many or any clients from those experiences, and so I got really hyper-focused on where I wanted to speak with my strategy. And I didn't wait for this to happen. I really identified what the right clients for me. I tried not to be all things to all people, if you will, and I found the right events. And you're going to have to do the same thing for your business. And if you are not getting results out of speaking, you really look at and ask that hard question, was the right audience in the room? Because even the best speech in the world to the wrong audience will be flat, will have no kind of connection or any kind of value to them. They'll see it as trivial. So you've got to speak at the right clients, and that's an obvious one. You've got to give the right speech. You've got to know how to deliver a speech that will get the audience to see you as the trusted advisor, to get you to see you and connect with you in a deeper way, and to want to take action, which is actually the third one. Get the audience to take action. I know that's obvious. If you're speaking to get clients, you want the audience to raise their hand and say, hey, I want to go further with you. I'd like to have that discovery call. I'd like to have that conversation to see if this is a good fit. And they'll be chasing you. And I think that's a really important piece to this. You've got to understand that these are important. Now, counterintuitive to common behavior. Now, I put this in here specifically because a lot of people know what to do, but they're not necessarily doing it. And so when I think about these things, you've got to be proactive. I say proactive a lot, and I'm going to say it a lot more because it really is the way I see things, and I've seen success. It's not waiting for it to happen. It's being proactive. A lot of people know what proactive means and the value behind it, but they're masquerading that with some other busy work or something that they think is more important. But proactive is the key to success with this strategy, and all strategies really. Build relationships. I say this is counterintuitive because we all know that business is about relationships, but not a lot of people are being intentional about the relationships they're building and how they go about doing it. We're talking about that today. Expert first, speaker after. So, I talk to a lot of meeting planners every week, and I'm talking about why they select the people they want. The big name speakers are great. They're probably getting speaker fees, but the ones that like you are probably coming in this, I would love to have that breakout room. I'd love to have that right perfect audience who have self-selected themselves. Maybe it's 100 people, maybe it's 200 people, and they have come in and they see you as an expert. And so the selection committee and the people making decisions to put you on stages want to see you as an expert in one domain. You can't be an expert in 5 domains. It just doesn't work that way. You have to be an expert in one area, and you can leverage that into other areas, but where are you a true expert? And you must use the principles of connection. That doesn't make as much sense, so I'm going to share with you a little bit more later inside this presentation what that means and how that applies to what you're doing. All right, there are 3 myths to speaking. There may be more, but I've come up with what I think are the 3 top myths, and I'm going to give you the myth, and then I'm going to give you a little bit of how to actually address that myth, what you should be doing or thinking instead. So the first one is other strategies just as good. Now, other strategies just as good means that you may think that speaking might be something you want to do someday. It might be part of what you want to do going forward, but I would get you to really think about, is the other strategies that you're looking at, email campaigns, webinars even. I know you're on a webinar right now, but it's for a high value offer. Webinars are not the best tool. In fact, every expert will out there and tell you is you can't sell a $5,000 or $10,000 offer to a cold traffic just on a webinar. It's just really hard and impossible. But you can use the stage to do this very well. Let me go a little bit deeper here, and I just want to. I love this sentence. Speaking is an unfair advantage. And what I mean by this is when someone gives you the microphone, you have a specific authority that's been dawned on you or given to you or surrounded around you because you've taken the microphone, and it's even better when you're up on a stage and they're looking up to you. They're seeing you as someone that has been vetted and someone that has something to say and that they're listening in. Now, your job is to do a good job from that platform, but just the being on the stage. I've had clients that have gotten new business just by being on the speaker page of a conference website. Now, if that doesn't mean an unfair advantage, I don't know what it is. He didn't even take the stage yet. But he got clients coming to him because of just being named as a speaker. Now, I recently did some research around the dangerous trends that even smart business owners are doing that get in the way of attracting high-value clients. And one of those is failing to claim your authority. And this is really just about you putting yourself out there and letting people see you, share your point of view, teaching them something new, and chasing you. And it really is a part of the problem. I mean, no other strategies outside of speaking allows you to do this. And I would debate anyone on this. Speaking is the most powerful strategy to actually claiming your authority and increasing your income. So what your market pays is directly related to the position in your market. So think about this. As you want to charge more for what you're doing, if you're charging more, let's say you wanted to double your price for what you have right now, double your price, would you say that you could do it with the same level of authority, or would you need more authority to double your price? Now, I've talked to and I've proposed this question to hundreds of people in my own speeches and my own executive roundtables and things I do and workshops with clients, and every one of them is pretty clear that they need to raise their authority. And hopefully you're in sync with me on this, because raising your authority is what will allow you to have people chase you. One example is a client of mine, Jason Swank, who literally people think of him in his market segment as a rock star. Now, he doesn't, not a rock star as in a guitarist or a lead singer, but just in business, he is seen as a celebrity to a certain select, not to everyone, but to certain members. He gets a very steady stream of leads. He gets a very steady stream of opportunities that aren't available to most people in his industry, because he is the choice, not just a choice. A little bit more about Jason. He's an international speaker. He started on some smaller stages, and now he only speaks on perfect stages for his business. And I helped him figure this out by helping him really find out his exact audience, and that has positioned his authority in a new way. Now, how Jason's using this is just an amazing kind of story. I've shared it all the time. Maybe you've heard it before, but it just really is a game changer to have authority. So what is authority? We've been talking about this, and it's not a trick question, and very simply, it's what others say about you. When you leave the room, do they say that you are an amazing at XYZ or at just X? Do they know what you stand for? And authority is something that people, give you. They attach it to you. They label you with this. And are they doing that within your business? And what could you do about it? We're talking about that today. I'm going to go through this. One of the big reasons why speaking is such a powerful aspect and better than any of these other strategies is because of something, it's really the old-fashioned way. It's called the proximity rule. The proximity rule is, if the higher the value of the clients, so important for you to actually be in the same room with them. Nose to nose, toes to toes, and really sharing the same air, and having an experience where they could eventually come up, shake your hand, maybe give you a hug. And if you're in the room with people, you have a much better chance to speed the relationship, build that relationship at a much deeper level than the online varieties. As much as we love to have webinars, it would be much better for us to be in person and for you to see me and how excited I am about what I'm doing and sharing. Now, I say all this because I just want to make sure that you understand, if you want high-value clients, if you want to propel your business forward, you've got to get in the room with them. And there's no other better way than through speaking. So far, we've still got a few people that haven't chimed in yet, and those that you have, I really appreciate it, Melanie and Shireen. What has been most helpful so far? Give me one thing that you would just type in here. What are you taking away so far? We're 30 minutes into this. I know we got started a little bit late, but what would you say is the most helpful to you right now? Put that into the chat box or the questions box, so I know that you're listening, you're paying attention. So getting confirmation on what you need to do. Thanks, Shireen. Confirmation about speaking, I'm going to assume. So I really appreciate that. All right, let's get back to this. I want to make sure we cover everything, and I've got so much to share with you. The 3 myths, we've gone over the other strategies just as good. So I really think that there's no other strategy better than speaking. I believe this. It just doesn't hold a candle to some of the other things that you might be doing and spending a lot of time on. The second myth here is I'll get discovered. Now, I actually chuckle when I hear people say, "What's your strategy for speaking?" Well, I get asked to do it every once in a while, and getting asked to do it is such a myth that it does happen. Like it happens for me, it happens for some of my clients now, but it happens because of all the work that we did before. So never compare yourself to what someone else is doing right today. Look at what they did. Look at what they did, not what they're doing right now. So if you're looking at other speakers, go back and try to reconstruct what they did to get to where they're going. If there's a speaker in your industry that's really hitting a home run. So let's go through this. I'll get discovered. And I really, hopefully you saw this image today. I woke up thinking what was missing from my emails, and I put this in really early this morning. Usually people have a desire to speak. They're ready to speak. They may even be speaking at some point, but they're not speaking on the right stages. So what stands between you and your dream? And this really does set up what we're talking about today, and it's a proactive strategy. A proactive strategy is one where you know what to do, you know why it's important, and you have made the time and you've scheduled it to do it, and you are doing it consistently so that you're building relationships, you don't miss opportunities, and you no longer have to worry, what could have been, and you have to just now focus on how do I make the most of what I'm creating, and how do I do more, how do I amplify that? So this is a really powerful tip for you, and we're going to go through how you do this. But let me ask you, the proactive mindset has served you in many ways. Would you put into the questions box how being proactive in other areas of your life has really helped you? I'm just curious if what you see as the value of proactivity, I guess, and just being able to share a little bit with me, because I know what it's done for me. If you'll type that in there, I would really appreciate it. I think about, writing for Entrepreneur. Entrepreneur magazine did not see what I was up to and pick me as a contributing writer for them 18 months ago. No, I created a strategy behind it. It took me about 6 or 8 months. I can't remember exactly. I had a few misstarts, and there's some silent period between doing this, and I was able to get to be a contributor by being proactive. So where has proactivity served you in your life and your business? I've got one person saying about getting clients. Yep, absolutely. That's a good example of being proactive will help you get the right clients for your business. Someone else wrote, change my profession to my life's calling. Yep, Shireen, that's a really good one. You've got to be proactive. God is calling us to do things. I appreciate you writing that in there. I'm a Christian, so you can actually really amplify what you're doing when you're proactive. And so I always put this slide up here because there are times when you might want to be reactive, but if you're building your business, you want to be proactive probably 95 or more % of the time. You really want to push yourself to find a strategy that will really propel your business. And Melanie writes, proactive about staying healthy. Yeah, if you're not proactive about what you need to be feeding your body and how you need to challenge your body, whether it's through workouts and keeping yourself, you won't have the kind of energy that you need to propel yourself forward or serve your family, and you've got to be proactive about this. So proactivity is something you know, but most people aren't doing it. So I share this with you, so let's talk about what are those 7 steps to get 4 engagements in 90 days. Now I'm going to fly through these because I'm trying to pack all this in here, so please know that I have so much more to give you on this areas, but I'm going to give you what I can here. Define your audience. If you want to speak at the right stages, then you must know who the right audience is. I know that sounds really simple, but most people are just taking speaking gigs. And I get asked all the time, and I don't do this anymore. I don't just take any speaking gig. I take ones that will propel my business forward. I don't have time for the ones that don't. I don't need any more practice gigs. I want to work and have the right audience. So you've got to define your audience. So that's one of the things you must do. The second thing is you must research that audience. You must find the problem. You must find what they want to do and accomplish. What goals do they have? What are their aspirations? What are the myths they believe? What is getting in the way of them actually having the success that they want? And when you know that really well, then you can go through your discovery, which is about what are you going to speak about? What are you going to, how would you talk about that speech? What are you going to title it? What is the description? All of those things critically important, because in this early stage of this, you want to know exactly who the audience is. You want to know what their problems are and where they're aspiring to, and you want to have a speech that shows them how to do that, how to fill that gap, how to be the bridge for what they're doing. And then fourth, your positioning. We're going to talk about that a little bit deep today, but this is one of the things Shireen wanted to know in today's training was, how do you actually get selected? So let's talk about that in just a second. As we go through this, your approach, your strategy really does matter. How you actually put yourself out there will make all the difference. We're going to go into that a little bit deeper, and then we're going to talk about making your pitch, and that is just the way you talk about what you do. A lot of people don't understand, and they rush it either too fast. They go in for the proposal, if you will, the marriage proposal. They don't build the relationship. I'm going to share with you exactly what I mean by that. And then 7 is accepting the engagement. That's where you want to be. The space in between is the most important. One thing that's missing from here that a lot of people get caught up in is something that I want to make sure we put a spotlight on, because it just really will help you not make excuses and not be distracted by something that's not important. You may already have a speech, but most people that don't have a speech are so intent on crafting the speech, knowing every sentence, knowing the slides, and having that really clear that they make excuses about being proactive and actually reaching out. They spend so much time on the stuff that's not important that it keeps them from actually getting booked. And so what I'm going to share with you, if you don't have a speech yet, you actually don't need one to get booked. You need to have the title of the speech. You need to have a description of the speech. I like to have a web page that allows you to send one easy link to someone that you're talking to about that speech. And I've got examples on my genehammett.com website. Don't go there right now. You can go look at this later. But it shows my 2 speeches. And so I do this intentionally, and I show my clients how to do it, but you don't have to craft the speech. So that is really important. Now, what does it take to actually get selected as a speaker? Well, unique is better than better. It's hard for you to talk about how you're a better speaker or your message is better, but you could talk about how it's unique. When you understand your specific audience, your niche, if you will, you can talk about what makes your approach, the way you get results, unique. This is called the unique mechanism. And in marketing, you've got to have a unique mechanism for any audience that is sophisticated and they're savvy enough, and they're getting bombarded with messages, and you cut through the noise with something that's unique. One example of this is a client of mine, Derek Hart. And Derek was a designing and branding company before we met, and he was doing okay. Like he could have probably chugged along and kept getting his 1 or 2 clients, going to networking meetings and whatnot. But when he finally figured out the right audience for him, his right positioning, he decided to really hone in on being a branding and design company for professional speakers. Now, yes, he's on my quote-unquote team, and he's a client of mine for like the last 3 years, but December was the best month he's ever had. And last year was the best month he's ever had. And in fact, it's so powerful that he has done, I want to say, 18 or more websites just for professional speakers. Now, that is a lot. Most designers don't have that level of focus, and that is a real unique factor to what could get him booked. I was just talking to him yesterday, I know I always say this, but it truly was. He was sharing with me an opportunity that came up and said, hey, in a few months, there's this program for professional speakers, and they've asked me to come in and say, would you give an hour-long presentation about the key components of a website for a professional speaker? Would you do that for free for our audience? And you will be able to share with them those key things, and then what do you think will happen with the relationship? He's positioned as this authority, an expert. They've actually selected him because of his unique factor, his depth that he's going into this. And his approach to this, I asked him, do you think you're better at doing this than you were when we first started? He goes, absolutely. I've learned so much, and I used to get wrapped up in things that weren't important, but now I know what's really important for my market. All right. That is an ideal audience. Yep. That Derek is going after it, and he's to take it a step further with Derek, you talk about getting selected, and this is beyond the actual stage part of this, but he's connected with 2 influencers in that market, and they've seen him as a very special resource to them, kind of like a secret weapon.
Yes, that is an ideal audience. I really appreciate your comment there, Shereen. Derek has really positioned himself away from the competition, using this unique approach by having the depth for professional speakers. And one of the things that's opened up that, not really related to speaking, but from an authority standpoint, is his connection with 2 influencers in the market have really positioned him to be amazing. So when I think about this, it really just lights me up, because I remember that he made this decision with a little bit of hesitations, and it took him a while to figure it out. But once he did, he's gotten tremendous success from it. One of those influencers is someone who does positioning to speakers, and the other one is a speech coach. If you get a little tongue-tied, speech coach, and they have so much trust in him, and he has so much authority built up that they have put them on their stages. They've allowed him to give them referrals, and he's gotten more than 14 deals just from that in the last 12 months. He started a podcast in this area called Get the Gigs, and Derek has really leveraged that authority and his positioning in the market in a major way, and is growing his business leaps and bounds. Your unique factor is really the key component here, and you've got to find that. I think it's really based on the strengths. Sometimes it's hidden from you because you don't really know what it is because you're so close to what you're doing. I've worked really hard on my hidden factor or the unique factor for my businesses and what I'm doing, and so I'm going to share that with you in just a minute, but you've got to figure this out for you, because that is what will make you successful. This will what make you get selected, make you become the choice in the market, not just a choice. So again, I shared this with you before. You don't want to be just like everyone else. You want to have an authority position. You want to be the choice, and it's okay for people to not see you as the one that can help them, but for the right people to see you as the choice really in a different way than they see everyone else in your market. Now, I love this. I put this in again, and there is no participation trophies in business. So you're not working to just play along with everyone else and follow the crowd. You really are looking to be that choice, that the one that stands on the podium and gets that deal. And it works the same way with speaking as well. You want to be the choice, and this unique factor really is a key component behind what you're doing and how you stand out, how you actually connect with those decision makers, how you get selected, how you deliver the speech, and how you actually get clients. So that being said, my first speaking gig came from really a strategy I call flipping the script on networking. And what I mean by that is that most people go to networking to get clients. So if you flip the scripts, you would go not to get clients, but to get speaking gigs. And so you change the way you approach this. And when you start putting yourself out there, what I've found is everyone wants to help you because they're in other groups and they know people that could help you, and you're not asking them to spend money with you. You're not asking them to take up their time with coffees and lunches and breakfasts and things like that. but they can help you, and it actually becomes a win-win-win for everybody because they enjoy connecting you with the right people. The right people are getting the right speakers, and you're getting to talk to the right audiences. And that's the first way I got my speaking gig, by flipping the script on networking. And it actually worked out to be such a benefit to me that it started me on this path about 4 or 5 years ago that allowed me to get into the room with 6 people, give my speech, and actually get one client from that day. So I only got one client. It was about $3,000 at the time, and it was amazing to be able to do that without fumbling around with the funnels and without fumbling around with Facebook ads or any other kind of marketing strategies. No social media was involved. I just went to a networking event, told them what my intentions were, and an opportunity came up. I got connected, and the next day I was speaking and I got a client. So I share this with you in case you're looking for that to get started here. You can use this a little bit at the advanced levels as well. I'll share with you some more tips coming into this. But the huge lesson here is building relationships. Do you see how even in networking, I had relationships with those people. I had built some credibility and some trust, and I was able to leverage that into speaking. And so if you look at that at the micro level, you can actually do the same thing with the bigger engagements. It's just a little bit more intention, a little bit more strategy gets put in place. And really the key is something I'm going to share with you in just a minute. So what's been helpful here? Share with me, put in the chat window or the questions, what's been most helpful for here. And then we're going to move into a place where I'm going to answer some questions. But I would love for you to tell me, what are you taking away from this? All right. Shireen says it's really about the niche, and she confirming what she already knew, that I need to have a little bit more narrow approach to what you're doing. Yep, I agree with you, Shireen. This is really a big one. Your unique factor and why that's important. Most people don't understand really how that's being used. So just to take it a little bit deeper, the unique mechanism or the unique factor that you do will really separate you from your competition. It should be the reason why you get the results that you do. It's not because you're customer service. It's not because of your years of experience. And it's because you have something that allows you to get better results than everyone else. And that's your unique factor. And when you can communicate that clearly and compellingly, in a very compelling way, if you will, then you'll get more opportunities. So thank you guys for sharing those thoughts. What questions do you have through this? A couple have come in here while I was talking. How do you connect with decision makers? So really big question. We're going to talk about that in just a minute. So I'm going to put that on pause. And then another one came in was, how do you actually get past the gatekeeper when you're trying to get booked on big speaking gigs? Very good question. You want to make friends with the gatekeeper. You actually want to connect with them and see if you can get information out of them that will help you strategically connect with the decision maker. And what I found though, with most conferences, there's not a gatekeeper. There is a person with a lot of responsibility. They're very busy, so you want to be respectful of their time, but there's one person, and they may take that to the committee. And if you can build a relationship with that one person, you're one step ahead of the crowd. And then you're absolutely, if you can build with more people in the committee, you actually have a better shot at actually getting selected for that. If they know who you are and you've built some trust up, that really does go a long way. So let's go into this. The 3 myths of speaking. Other strategies are just as good. We've really talked about that one. And I just don't, if you're going after high value clients, if your business is a custom service-based company, I don't know of a better strategy than speaking. And I'll get discovered. So if you're waiting to get discovered, it does happen, but it's rare. And so I want to just really lay a foundation around this, that you can actually claim your authority. You can actually do this if you're willing to be intentional and just do it. Work the strategies I'm talking about. And then some people think it's too hard. They don't go after speaking on bigger stages because it's too hard. Maybe something hasn't worked and they realize that they're just spinning their wheels. Well, let me talk to you about how I go about doing that. So put a spotlight on actually getting the gigs. I want to make it really easy for you. Where this came from was I did a survey, 486 people. What was your number one challenge with speaking? And a lot of different varieties of speakers, people that have never spoken, people that have spoken a little bit, and people that have spoken a lot. And they still think finding and booking the speaking gigs was 47% the biggest challenges that we had. The other things that came up were overcoming the fears of speaking, write the speech, which is about how to write it, and then time to do it. So we're going to combine really the first one and the last one here. And this what I'm going to tell you is how to book 4 engagements in 90 days. I found that if you really want this to be a part of your strategy, you may have some other things going on. You probably have some clients 4 hours per week. So I know 10% of your time to work on new strategy. Maybe you don't even have 4 hours per week, but are you able to commit to this strategy for 90 days to see if it works for you? And I really think we can break that down into 2 hours of research. So you can kind of do that on your own time, and you can do 2 hours of reach out. And what's inside there is the research is about building the list and by establishing that spreadsheet or establishing the targets that you're going after and really going after building relationships with those decision makers. So you got to find the decision makers, and then you've got to update the list. You're going to be adding some conferences. Maybe you take some away, and then you're going to be really going after this throughout the year. You want to get ahead of that cycle. So you want to make sure you're looking anywhere from 4 to 12 months out, because a lot of conferences are 12 months out for real. My wife is speaking at a conference, tomorrow, and she booked it, 8 months ago or 9 months ago. And sometimes she's booked 12 and 15 months in advance. So I really think the sweet spot is between 4 and 12 months. You really, it depends on the type of events you're going after, of how much lead time you need, but you want to have that list update. You don't want to miss opportunities. And so in the research, it's really important. And the reach out really is just, how do you send emails? What emails do you send? What sequence, what frequency? What's in those emails? That's really important. Using the phone where necessary. It's not just a cold call. You really are trying to find them some information. And then I really like the ability to measure one factor of this, and that's track quality conversions. So if you quality conversations. Tracking quality conversations will really help you know if you're on track, if you're moving forward. If you're willing to have 3 to 5 quality conversations per week, and you set that up with 2 hours of research and 2 hours to reach out, and you're having 15 minutes or 20 minutes with someone, and you're able to figure out how to do that in your business, you will really be successful with this strategy. As long as you have that unique factor, you have a message, you go after the right audience, and you're positioned well, you'll get more stages, you'll get bigger stages if you just know how to do this, and you track those quality conversations. Now, you may be looking at this going, yeah, I don't even know where I'd find 4 hours. So if you have a team, or if you're planning on building a team, then you can actually have your support team do the research for you. I don't do really any of the primary research unless I just want to. I have a team that I've trained to do this. I've trained 5 or 6 people to do this. You can do the same thing in your business. And actually, I'm going to show you how you can do that in just a moment. You can actually have your support team do some of the emails and some of the using the phone for you. I will say that they're not going to have the quality conversations that you're going to have with these meeting planners, decision makers. You want to make sure that you are spending at least a little bit of this time yourself. They're scheduling some appointments for you, or maybe they're setting up appointments, and they can get you on the phone for those 20-minute conversations. What if you had 3 of those per week? It's pretty powerful. And this is a very doable strategy if you're working through the system, and it just works. So I've talked about so much today. I've talked about being proactive. I've talked about having the right strategy. I've talked about being authority. I've talked about the power of speaking. We've talked about it's not too hard if you're willing to do it and have a system behind you. So I'm going to ask your permission. Can I share with you what I've been working on, what I've been helping business owners that want to speak, to generate leads, that get clients, that accelerates their authority and increases their income? So it's introducing Authority Camp. I just am beaming to be able to share this with you because I've been working on this for a long time, working with my private level clients, and we've been getting tremendous success from it. And I've decided to open this up in a group format to you. So let's look at this and I'll go deep with this. You're going to book better speaking engagements with your perfect clients in the audience and be better than 99% of the speakers today. Now, I say this because I've seen it happen with people who've never spoken before, are better each and every time they're taking the stage, they're getting more clients, they're getting more opportunities, and it's positioning them as an authority in their industry, and they're getting better speaking engagements. It's happening time and time again. So I can really be clear about this promise to you. Terrible speeches. I just want to pause just for a second here, because there's some training inside here that I don't want you to leave on. And give me an idea of what is a terrible speech to you. When you hear it, what are the things that you're hearing or seeing in the crowd that let you know that this speech is just not working? Someone just put in there boring, monotone, too many slides, too much slides. Yeah, absolutely. Not really looking at the audience. Wow. It does happen. I've seen it. And so thank you for sharing that. Let me just stop you for a second, because a few things are coming in here. I didn't realize you guys would pipe up here so quickly around this. When your speech lacks attention, if it doesn't get their attention and doesn't get your attention, you're going to see that as a terrible speech. And if the speaker doesn't connect with you, doesn't connect with your heart and mind, then you are going to perceive them is not being for you. And if there's too much information, it's too many slides or too much content on one slide, you're certainly going to be checked out probably. And lack of clarity, if they're rambling at all, if they are boring. And I just want to center in on one thing here. I hear a lot of these things. You're probably thinking some of them right now, and you've seen people speak like this. And I know you don't speak like that. But let's look at connection, because a lot of people don't understand the value of this. And especially if you're speaking for no fees, this is really important. But I think even if you are speaking for fees, you want to connect with the audience. You want to make sure that they really get you. But a lot of business speakers are really focused on the information that they're giving, and they're not focused on how the audience is receiving it, how they're connecting with your authenticity, the vulnerability. And a lot of business speakers are afraid to do this. And I really believe you're missing an opportunity when you're given the mic and given the stage, connecting and building authority. If you actually connect to the heart and mind of the people in the audience, if you know how to do that, you will get much more reaction and interaction and action out of them. And so I really believe that if you learn to connect with your words and connect with the delivery of this, you will get more clients from speaking. And so I say this, and I'm putting a little bit of time in here, because I want to make sure that this is that this is important. And I think a lot of people are looking at this, and a lot of this come from my own speaking. This program is a step-by-step program that is showing you how to book speaking engagements, but also, so the first 3 is around the booking side, the first 3 lessons, and then the last 2 is around actually writing and delivering the speech. Now, I break this up because most people think they've got one or the other. They've got a speech, but they don't know how to get booked. So I really want to make sure that you get that. And it's really an important part to get the bigger stages. And again, my promise is how to get 4 gigs in the 90 days. Well, this is the plan. You want to make sure that you know how to find your audience really clearly. You want to know how to sure you make a list. You want to know how to make your pitch, and you have everything ready for that pitch. And I show you how to do that inside the program. And then you want to make sure you write the speech that connects to their heart. And then you want to make sure you deliver it in such a way that they feel that connection with you and they take action from it. The emotional connection is what drives your success here. And so I've said connection maybe 1,000 times here, but I really believe this is my unique factor. It comes from my speaking on stages and watching myself speak on video. I've watched 8 hours one weekend because I was pulling out some segments for some different things. And I noticed what I am doing, not what I think I'm doing, but I'm watching myself on video, and I notice how I'm not this inspirational, rah, high energy kind of speaker. And it's great if you are, but I do have moments of that where I get really excited. But for the most part, I'm trying to connect with the audience, really understand their frustrations. I want them to say, "He gets me." I want them to say that he gets me and they touch their hand on their heart. I have this happen. And some of the times I hear, it's like, I felt like you were speaking directly to me. When you shared that story about this, when you talked about this, when you talked about this pain, when you talked about what you were going through and how you were feeling, I can really relate to that. That's all about connection. And I've also found that if you want to book more gigs, that you've got to have connection in there. You've got to have a real solid bond before someone will give you the opportunity to take their stage, and they want to see you as different from the other crowd. So a lot of people look at connection versus communication, and I've heard this debate many times before. So let me just kind of give you my framework. I call it the CTC framework. It's connection trumps communication. Connection trumps communication. Most people think about the words they're going to say, the outlines. They think about, the headlines. They think about the stories. They think about what they're telling the audience, what they're communicating. And they're not thinking about the emotional connection that's necessary. They're not looking at the emotional contrast. They're not looking at what is distracting from that connection. They're not looking at how they're moving on the stage and how they're actually using eye contact and all of those things that make you less connected to the audience. And those things can really hinder you when you are trying to get clients from this opportunity. So most get it wrong. They focus on the information versus the insight. They're not really giving insight or wisdom with their words. They're just communicating stuff. And we don't need more stuff. We don't need more information. We need insight. We need to know the finer elements. We need to know something that we didn't know before. We need to shatter beliefs. We need to push beyond what everyone else is saying and come up with the real nuggets and practical and actionable. One of the things I interview and talk to decision makers all the time, and I'm writing this deep report on this, is the need for practical and actionable advice. And it's not just about information and reparroting them, it's about sharing insight. And that is really important for you to understand. Now, another place of connection is in actual booking the gigs. And I told you I'd be sharing with you some things. You probably know what this is. You've probably seen them. And it's very common for different organizations, bigger speaking opportunities to have a speaker submission form. And they're all set up very similarly, and they want to put you through the cattle call. And I get it. It's a very difficult job they have to sort through everyone, but I've actually found that this doesn't work that well. So I actually say don't do the forms. The forms actually can hurt you more than help you. Most of the time it's like a black hole. They just go into the abyss and they're just gone forever. And you never hear back. So I'm going to show you what to do instead. Build relationships. I've said this, and you want to identify who those decision makers are. You want to identify how you could strategically make yourself aware of you, or they be aware of you, and you can build some rapport and you can build some connection with this. And really it is about connection. And so I want to share with you this. This is an email I got yesterday. So literally 14 hours ago. I know you don't see the date on here. I can't control my Google Mail, if you will. But let me highlight a couple of things. It came in just a few hours ago, and it says, if you look at the bottom one, it says, "Congratulations, your application to speak at WordCamp Atlanta was accepted." So it's a small event. I've spoken at this event a few times, and the reason I got it is because they know me. I have a relationship with Mickey Mellon. I've known him for probably 4 years or so. I can't remember when I met him exactly, but he's in Power and he's a part of the membership committee. So they're happy to have me in there. And I really felt confident that I would get this opportunity. And I filled out the application because I knew I had that relationship ahead of time. He knew me. He trusted me. Now, what happened before that when I spoke there before? Well, I knew those people. And before that, I knew those people. Before that, I didn't get the gig. And I knew one person on the committee, and he told me that, I said, I really hope to speak here, and I didn't get this opportunity. What do I need to do differently? And he goes, "I'm going to be honest with you. It wasn't your fault. It was my fault." I'm like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Well, in the committee, no one knew you. When your name came up, I didn't speak up for you because no one else knew you. And it was a little bit risky for me to vouch for you, even though I knew you would do a good job, but no one else knew you. So we picked the people that we knew and trusted would do a good job." And that's where I really learned about the importance of building relationships. And I watched this play out many times before with other clients who tried to just do forms and not do this. So connection is a really important part to this. And hopefully you're really getting it. I'm laying it on pretty thick here. I said these before, but building relationships is about awareness first. It's about them actually knowing that you exist. That's a really important part. And then it's about rapport. It's about you finding that common element that you can actually connect with them on. And then the connection comes through the interactions and the consistency of this. And you want them to see you as a trusted, credible source that you can actually take responsibility for that opportunity, and you can actually connect with the audience, and you can do what you say you can do, and that you will do it. And that's a really big part of building relationships. And I just don't feel like you can be a powerful speaker without building the kinds of relationships that are necessary that build trust, that put you on stages. So Authority Camp, 5 lessons that walk you through finding your audience, crafting your list, and all the things involved with that, making your pitch, reaching out, getting booked on the gigs, and then actual writing the speech and actually delivering the speech. So it's a pretty comprehensive, I say pretty, it's very comprehensive, and it will help you from soup to nuts, from beginning to end, actually getting clients. And there's training videos, there's worksheets, templates, and all kinds of resources to help you and guide you through this. And really everything is done looking through the lens of connection. How do we improve connection? How do we do this differently than everyone else? Not follow the pack, raise our own authority through every step in this journey, and for them to see you as that expert. There's 3 questions that I want you to really think about right now, and it really are powerful questions. The first one is speaking important to you now? So coming into this, you may have been sitting on the fence, but you're probably spending a lot of time on writing or blogging, or maybe it's podcasting, or maybe it's some other strategies, funnels and emails and Facebook ads and all of these things. Well, I really want to make sure that you understand that if you have high value clients, that speaking is the most important thing that you can do for your business if you want to connect with those high value clients. And then secondly, do you want a proactive strategy? So I've asked questions. Being proactive has paid off in many areas of your life and your business, but you probably aren't behaving in such a way to have a proactive strategy around speaking. And I want to ask, are you ready to do that now? Are you ready to have that available to you in your toolbox, in your toolkit, to go out there and get the bigger stages and to get the ones that are full of your ideal prospects or ideal clients? Do you want a deeper connection? Have I made a case for you to be focused on how you're connecting from the stage, and how you're absolutely necessary for you to not only write a speech and deliver a speech that connects with the audience, for them to say that he gets me or she gets me, and for them to see you as that trusted advisor, but it's also important in the actual booking process and how you actually go out there and get selected for stages. Do you see the value of having a deeper connection and learning this skill and this approach? Well, I hope you do, because this is what Authority Camp's all about. It's a step-by-step program. There's more than 3 steps, but this is just kind of the image. It goes from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5, and we just go through this and work the system. Now, this is just an example. Stephanie Sheehan, about a year ago, she didn't speak at all for her business. She spoke, for her small little groups, but not really at a level to get leads. And so she was relying on marketing, and she was getting some low value offers out there. Now speaking is her primary lead generator, and it really has allowed her to get a lot of high value clients for her business, and speaking opportunities are getting easier and easier as she continues this strategy. And it really is an amazing part of this. Now, the offer of Authority Camp is not $17,500. That's to work with me privately. That's where I've grown in my ability to command from working with clients one-on-one. And it's an amazing experience where I'm sitting down with you and helping you through every piece of the strategy. And it really is powerful. I've seen people do $50,000 from speaking. I've seen people do many more hundreds of thousands of dollars behind that just in one opportunity. So it really has given me the confidence to charge this when I'm using my time privately, one-on-one with clients, and it's an amazing experience. But that's not available to everyone, and I'm not going to really go into the depths here. I really want to offer you Authority Camp. The guided tour is a group experience where I'm guiding you through this. Like-minded entrepreneurs that want to speak, that want to be authorities, are coming into this for $2,997. Now, that is a really great experience, and it may even be better than the private experience because you have other people that you can bounce things off of the ideas, and they can support you. You can validate things much quicker, and it really is a great set. We've got a few people already in the program. It's a fantastic group of people. leadership coaches and marketing people and executive coaches, a business coach. We've got someone that speaks and does corporate workshops, and we have someone that does some corporate training, but they speak to actually get those contracts. So those are the kinds of people that are in this program and the guided tour. And if you would rather do this on your own, then I have a self-study program that is $1,997. Now, that is you get the same videos, you get everything in there, and I really know how powerful that is. But I also know that a lot of people have questions. So what's inside the study at home? Well, it's exactly what we talked about before, the 5 lessons, and it is got the videos and worksheets and templates, and it's $1,997. So in the guided tour, you're actually going to get on the phone with me twice a month. The first call of each month is about getting booked. It's about actually getting the gig. And then the second call of the month is about the authority piece and about the details of writing the speech and delivery and how to use the media to get your authority and all of the things and the fine tuning of this. But I am here to support you through this. So I'm going to be on these calls are about 90 minutes apiece. You're able to ask your questions. I'm able to ask you. You have some accountability inside this. And so it really will support you to move forward and consistently get your 4 hours a week in, track your quality conversations. That is really what's most important here. So again, you can work with me privately for $17,500, and it's amazing and it's well worth it. You can do the guided tour for $2,997, or you can do the self-study program for $1,997. Now, I say this pretty quickly because I've been looking back at where I've been getting results with people. I've done some group programs before, and I've just made this decision. I really love to support people. I love to interact with them. So what I've decided to do for you for right now is to offer this program. You get the guided tour included with the self-study program for the same price. So you get everything that I have available to you right here through the guided tour and the self-study program for $1,997. Now, that is very clear to me. Hopefully it's clear to you that I am giving you everything you need in the self-contained study at home, but then I'm going to support you through the next 5 months through all different phases of getting gigs and getting on bigger stages. And it won't take you 5 months, but it may take you a few months to get through different cycles and different phases of this. And I'm going to be there with you every step of the way to guide you. So your 2 options to get these, the guided tour and the self-study program, are really just a payment options. You can do the one payment of $1,997, or you can do 5 payments of $400. So you can start today for $400. And it really is, if that's what fits your budget, and I would love, and you're a good fit for this program, and once you apply, you're accepted, then you can choose which is the right thing for you. I will tell you that if you do make the 1 payment bonus and you really invest in this, I want to reward you for that commitment. And so you get 2 private calls with me. Those calls are going to be best used, and I'm really going to urge you to use them for when you have a speech on the calendar, and we can sit down and either rewrite or write your speech that you can use for that opportunity. So it'll be about 3 weeks out maybe, and then you'll finish the writing, and then we'll get back on the phone for that second call just before the speech to go over delivery, make sure we remove some of those things that can distract from the connection that is necessary, and also have a sales strategy for how you're getting leads through this. Some of those finer elements are the heavy lifting through the program. I can teach you the same things in the group calls. So if you're worried about that, then you can just go with the payment options, and that'll work too. But if you go with the payment options, you don't get the private calls included. I just want to make sure that's clear. If you want to add them in a later time, I don't charge by the hour, but if you did, they'd be about $1,000 for each of those calls. They're extremely worth it, but it is something that I'm rewarding the people that are doing a one-time payment. All right, another benefit here is I know that this happens and it's important. So if you have a partner in your business, they're actually part of your company, then you can bring them for free. You can bring that person in to the program. They can come up on the calls and they can be supported through this. I'm happy to do that. You can also bring the support people, the virtual assistants. You can bring executive assistants or marketing managers, whatever you have. You can bring them to this program at no additional cost. They can go through the calls, they can go through the videos and the worksheets, they can be on the calls, they can ask questions, everything is available to them. Just you need to know that I want to support you, and this is what I'm giving you. Now, you may not have a support person, but I will give you a specific training that will help you when you do bring someone on to help you do that research and reach out. And I've done this in a bonus that is $1,000 value. It's called a speaker support training, and it really does give them exactly what they need to be successful with this, to help you maintain those lists, maintain the relationships, and help you position you for that pitch, and all of the details in there. And I show you them how to do that. So it's kind of a self-contained little mini training, if you will, on just how to support you for this. Now, Ron Dodd is one of my high-flying clients, and the work that he's done from the stage has just been transformational in his business. It's changed the trajectory of everything, but one speech paid off more than $800,000. Now, think about that. One speech. Now, your business may not be at the level that can handle that kind of growth, and it actually put a lot of stress under his business, but what it has done for his business has been phenomenal. He went from an $18,000 a month business to over an $85,000 a month business with this opportunity from speaking, and then some of the things that happened after that grew his business to be $1 million business. Now, I share this with you. You may get different results depending on your industry and business, but it is high-value clients that are coming in. Each of those clients were probably worth around $35,000 to $40,000 for his business. So he got that many clients, and they're still with him today since the speech. And it happened about 18 months ago. So it's the compound effect of keeping clients long-term in his business that has made this such a powerful strategy for him with speaking. And I just talked to him a few days ago, and he was talking about how his thought leadership has risen. And in fact, he's writing for many different publications now. He's showing up on many more stages, and it really is been a boost for his business, accelerating authority and income at the same time. So just to review the offer, Authority Camp, the guided tour, and the self-study program, all included, wrapped up together with that speaker support training for $1,997. And I do ask that you apply. So here's the process. You just go to leadersinthetrenches.com/apply. Apply is a short little form that you're going to fill out, just a few questions. They're going to come back to me, and I'm going to get on the phone with you. I'm going to have a 15-minute conversation with you. I'm going to see if you're a good fit. I want to make sure that this is something you're really serious about, that you really will support the other people in the group, and that you will be a part of this and to get success, and you're not just coming in because you're kind of curious. I want to make sure you're really going to use this, and I want to do this, have that quick call with you to answer your questions, connect with you to make sure we can put together a quick little roadmap for you and see where you are starting out. So go to leadersinthetrenches.com/apply. Now, those two options, again, $1,997 if you pay in one payment, and 5 payments of $400. You get started today for $400, and you get those 2 calls with me. And again, you've got the URL to apply. It's leadersinthetrenches.com/apply. And I want to just be direct with you here. What are you afraid of? I know a lot of people have been in other programs. They probably haven't done the work. They haven't gotten the results out of it. If this is something you really want, you want to be guided through it, then I want to help you. This is not just another video program and another, kind of call where there's going to be thousands of people on this. We have a handful of people in this program, and you could be one of the people I'm guiding each and every call to get this done through accountability, through the sticking points, and through the finer elements, and getting your business and customizing the strategy for you, coming up with your unique factors, coming up with your stuff that will help you get booked and selected. Said stuff. The guarantee here, just in case you are wondering about this, I want to make this really fit both of us. The guarantee really is to protect both of us. It's not just, I want to make sure I get the right people in the program. So you got to make a little bit of a commitment here. So I want to say, if you come in under the payment plan, you can cancel the program anytime with no further payments with 30 days written notice. That's my guarantee to you. So if you come in on the payment plan and you at day 29, you don't want to continue, you've only made one payment, that's all you're going to risk. You can stay in the program for another 30 days and then you're out. But I've got some special bonuses. I've got some things in here that will really make this pay off for you, that you're not going to want to leave on, to make it sticky. And I say that with, knowing that that's some marketing plays, but I really want to serve you. I really want this to be so valuable that you're looking forward to these calls, you're showing up, and you're taking action, and the accountability is really propelling you to the next level. And part 2 is If you do the work in the program, and I'll know this because of your activity and because of you showing up and through your thoughtful questions and by tracking some of the accountability that we're doing, I will personally work with you at a private level until you recover your investment. That means if you've gone through the program and you haven't gotten your ROI yet, then I'm going to work with you. And I don't want you to just get your money back, but if that's the case, I'm going to work with you to fine tune this, to help you make this pay off. Get that, usually it's probably less than half a client, depending on your business, but half a client. You can't have half a client. There's no participation trophies in business, Gene. But you can, hopefully you understand what I'm talking about. I will work with you privately to make this pay off. So it's a 2-part guarantee that really is about you being successful. Why now? Why would you do this? Well, if you decide to work this as a proactive strategy, why would you want to wait? I mean, it does take a little bit of time to get the details in place, to be really aware of how to have those conversations, get some things on your website, get you positioned right. So those things will really help you in many areas of your business, not just on the speaking, but just getting clients and everything else you're doing. And why would you want to wait on that? If you really believe this is powerful for you, why would you wait? So I love this. I put this up on almost every slide because I really believe this. I create my own world. I know that there's some elements of our life where we're reactive, but we want to be more proactive. And if you want to get more stages and build your authority, I believe that you have to be proactive. You have to adopt this mindset, step into it, and really move forward with this. And this is what I'm giving you, the strategy to do that. And will this work for me? Yeah, it's a big question. I don't know where you are in your business. That's one reason why we do the application. We do a quick call. If you're good at what you do and you can have a desire to take the stage and share your message and willing to do that, then it will work for you. I've seen people who've never spoken before get tremendous return on this. And I've seen people who were terrible speakers rise to the level of being able to get leads and really moving forward with their business on this. I'm not trying to point fingers at anyone, but there's a lot of growth that happens through this program, and that's one of the things that allows me to do this, and I'm really excited about offering this as a group experience. Again, the program is complete from step by step by step with the lessons in here that help you do this, all the training, all the worksheets, all the templates really will help you make a difference. And a fast action bonus, this is different than the 100 top conferences. The reason this is different, I don't want to confuse this. Your first 100 is about your audience and the specific events that we've identified for you, that my team will go in and research into a spreadsheet, and they will give you exactly what you need. The events that you can just pitch to them. You can use the emails that I'll give you in the program. You can use the phone numbers that are inside this spreadsheet. That is a killer bonus, and it's only for those who take action fast. So don't miss the deadline on this. You must apply. You don't have to put money into this. You just have to go to leadersinthetrenches.com/apply and to get your first 100. And it really is. It's the question that keeps coming back. All the people that are in the program now are like, are these my events or are these events that you have in a database? Nope. My events in the database are for me and for me to help you understand and possibly to connect you with some new opportunities. But your spreadsheet, your first 100 is your events. These are for you, just put together by my team using their skills and time and effort to figure out what events there are in that market, who are the decision makers, what is their email, what is their phone numbers, and we're doing our best job to validate those so to make it easy for you to do this in a minimal amount of time and get your return on your investment like right away. So again, the 2 payment options, $400 today or $1,997 gets you the 2 private calls with me. So this is a repeat. Just apply. You do have to apply before the deadline if you want the fast action bonus. And you do have a choice. I love this picture when I was putting this together. You can go alone and you can do it yourself, or you can go on the guided tour. You can go on Authority Camp with me and the other like-minded coaches and marketers are in here that will really help you and support you. And I want you to think about this. There's a little bit of a metaphor within this picture. Going alone has no guardrails or handrails. You have the ability to wander and get off the track. And that's what happens a lot when you're going alone. But the guided tour has these handrails that keep you on the path, that keep you absolutely going where you need to go and keeping you moving forward. And I'm going to guide you into the future. I'm going to guide you in the future if you want to do this with me. And I hope you do, because what I'm putting together is unheard of in this market, and it really is such a powerful play. I don't want you to miss this opportunity, and don't think you'll come back to it later. If this is something you're really serious about, let's shift some things around. Let's get on that call and see if you're a really good fit for the guided tour of Authority Camp. If you want to go alone, you're going to be walking without the guardrails. Wayne Curzon just was using speaking inside of his business was not working. He was actually speaking at those local events that we have kind of made fun of, the practice events, and there's nothing wrong with those events, but there's a point where you want to make sure a strategy is going to pay off. You're putting time into it. And Wayne came into the program months ago and was really a powerhouse in this. His virtual assistant is the one who gave me the idea to come up with a speaker support training, because she took the training and she got the payoff within 3 weeks of booking him like 4 gigs. It really is an amazing kind of story for me to see. He had been speaking locally and never speaking to his really ideal clients. We identified exactly the audiences. We identified the gigs, and his actual assistant did the work and got him booked. Just put him on the phone with these decision makers, and I guided him through all of the details of that. And now speaking is his primary lead generation, as his words, a top lead generation strategy. And I helped him with the presentation. So if you're wondering about the value of those one-on-one calls, he paid me separately to have just talk to him about his presentation, his delivery style, and I helped him refine his speech, and he's gotten much more comfortable with it. He's got various links, and that speech is really helping him drive his business forward. So Wayne is really crushing it with this speaking. No, I promised you a free gift. Here's how you access the free gift. Here's what it is. It's a list of events. You'll see the names of the events. This is just a partial list. You'll see the month. You'll see the date and the year and the conference city and the URL. I've even organized them by category. And you can look at this. You can download this for free. It's yours. Go to leadersinthetrenches.com/top-100. And I've got a lot of content on my page, so I had to come up with something specific for you. This is for you. I prefer you not to share it with people, because I put a lot of work into this for you. You have invested your time. It's great for you to use this. But if you do want to share it, by all means, go ahead and share it. But I prefer you keep it to yourself. And this is different than the free offer for the Your First 100. Your First 100 is not just a list of top conferences. It's a list of the events that are perfect for you and your business, and the decision makers behind that, and the emails and the phone numbers that go with those people. So I want to make sure that's clear. All right, questions here today. If you have any questions, just type them in the box and I'll answer them. And while you're doing that, I'm going to go over the payment options again. So $19.97 gets you the 2 private calls with me, or you can do 5 payments of $400. So you start for $400 today, and your guarantee is 2-part guarantee that you can cancel anytime with 30 days notice. And if you're not got the results after you've completed the program, then I'll work with you privately to make sure that this pays off, get your ROI. All right, so that's my piece today. If you have any questions, put them in there. A couple came through. What do you do when reaching out to decision makers could cause resistance or tension for you? So resentment. Okay, I said that wrong. I've never had that problem. I wonder if you've had a specific opportunity. So if you can put some more details in there, it'd be great. But reaching out to decision makers has been a really, actually a fun kind of experience for me, because they're easier to get in touch with. They actually have a job to put speakers on their stages, and they will answer questions for you. You want to be respectful of their time because they are busy. You want to add value to them in some way. That's one reason why the connection approach, the CTC framework, is such a powerful kind of way to learn how to reach out to people. You've got to use your strengths and your way of doing this and stand out from the crowd, because there's a lot of people trying to get their attention. And so if you do it the right way, there is no resentment that comes back, and there is no resistance for them. They actually are there to serve you as almost like a customer. Like they're answering your questions, and then we'll respond to your emails much more readily than the busy executive will. Someone asked if We use LinkedIn in our research. LinkedIn is a powerful tool. I'll be honest with you. I've used it a little bit for speaking, but I don't use it that much. I honestly have reached to the point in my business where I like to outsource everything I can to my research team, and my research team is using LinkedIn heavily. They're using other tools too that I include inside here. There's a lot of different ways to look up events, and I really hold those dear to me because I give them to my clients and I give them to my own research team. So that's the way we're actually getting a lot of the data using LinkedIn. So I don't personally use it. Now I do use it when I am connected with someone to have a conversation to see what common bond we may have so that we can build some rapport right away or look for that strategic angle for that conversation. Maybe it's a strategic introduction. LinkedIn will tell me who we have connected. So I am using LinkedIn as I need to, but I'm not using it on the front end. I let my team do that research. I've actually found I'm a very curious person, so I'll get into a rabbit hole and I spend too much time on one little bit of information where my team will just kind of go point, click, and then I get to filter through that a little bit later. So that is our time today. There's a few more questions that are coming in, but I'm gonna answer those through email. So thank you for playing along with me today. Just to go over this offer again, you're getting the guided tour with the self-study program all included together. You're getting a guarantee that I really feel like is a really strong guarantee with two parts to it. You can cancel anytime with 30 days written notice. And then if you're still in the program doing the work and you haven't gotten an ROI, then I will work with you privately, private coaching until you get that return on investment. So that is an amazing offer, I feel like. And the real unique factor to what we're doing is talking about how connection is such an important piece to you actually booking the gig, delivering the speech or writing the speech, delivering the speech, and getting the clients afterwards. And I show you all of those techniques inside Authority Camp. And that fast action bonus here is your first 100. So if you apply before the deadline, you will actually get an amazing resource for you to makes this really easy for you to just reach out with emails that we give to you. And if you're in the program, when it's time for this, you've gotten everything ready, and my team puts the spreadsheet for you together, then you will really enjoy that. Get a little tongue-tied there. You have a choice. You can go alone or you can go on the guided tour. I love this picture. Do you want to be guided? Do you want to have handrails to guide you along, or do you want to go wandering off into the forest? Well, I love what this is. Again, this is the top 100. Make sure you get that list. And if you want to one last time, want to apply, you don't have to put money down. You just apply. We'll decide which payment option is best for you in our conversation. We'll decide, is this a good fit? And I'll help you make that decision. And in some cases, it won't be a good fit because I want to make sure that you're really at the experience level that you can handle more clients, you can handle these high value work, and you can get results for them. So if that's the case, let's go ahead and do that application, leadersinthetrenches.com/apply. And thank you for joining today. Thank you for the training, for listening in, staying all the way to the end. Hopefully it paid off for you. And I really am excited about this offer. I hope you'll join me. Don't miss this opportunity because I do reserve the right to raise pricing, take away bonuses, take away access to me as this gets a little bit more successful. But right now is a great time for you to get in. And it's actually the best time to get in, so don't hesitate. Let's look forward to seeing you in that application and having that quick conversation with you, and I'll talk to you soon.